Devin Haney still has no respect as a lightweight, but Gervonta Davis does. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So, Devin the Dream Haney. I believe that's his nickname, the Dream. Weird little nickname, but it is what it is. So, Devin Haney, man, he's the undisputed lightweight champion of the world. Craig. Of the world. But he has none of the respect that you would think an undisputed champion would garner or obtain once they became undisputed. Even George Kambosos, I felt like, was getting like his full respect as the undisputed champion, even though some people were calling him a fluke and all that type of stuff. But I think he still got some of his flowers. He didn't get a lot of fame out of it, I don't think. But I think within the boxing world, people gave him respect for beating Teofimo the way he did. So I don't understand why Devin doesn't get his all due respect. Listen, I respect him for being the champion, but to be honest, I do think his style is a little boring. I think the way he fights, it's dominant, you know, the same way Andre Ward and Floyd Mayweather was, but it's very, very boring to watch. And to be honest with you, I respect somebody who can entertain me within a boxing ring. Your skills can't just be dominant and not entertaining. I'm a purist boxing fan, I believe. I watch the fights to see your foot movement and your hand movement and your body movement and all the intangibles that come along with boxing. But to be honest, boxing can hit a point to where it is freaking boring to watch. And Devin Haney, I think he's so dominant that it's just boring to watch. By the time you get to like a fourth or fifth round, you're ready to fall asleep because you already know what he's going to do. There's not going to be any excitable moments within the fight. And a lot of people feel like he doesn't have any power and he doesn't possess the talent level to knock people out. So, you know, when you compare him to a guy like Gervonta Davis and his popularity, then you got to go, like, what is Devin Haney doing wrong? You know, what is Gervonta Davis doing that Devin Haney isn't doing? And the one thing that you can point at is knockouts. Gervonta Davis is knocking everybody the F out. He's making everybody look very, very ordinary. And he looks super spectacular in all his fights. And it's very entertaining to watch. Where when you watch Devin Haney, it's just like more of the same. He's going to dominate his opponent for 12 rounds. He's not going to try to knock him out. It's not going to be any super dramatic moments. There's not going to be a lot of dramatics within the press conferences. No, that's what sells a fight. This Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis fight sold because both guys were jarring each other. You know, there was a lot of back and forth. It was entertaining from the time it was signed to the time that Gervonta landed the body shot and it was over with. It was extremely entertaining. Now, when it comes to Devin, there's just not a lot there. You know, he's not a loudmouth guy. He doesn't oversell his talent level. He's just a good boxer. And I think it's going to take for him to beat somebody like Shakur Stevens or somebody like Gervonta Davis. Mainly, I think even if he was to beat Shakur, I don't think people would give him still his respect because Shakur is still so green at 135. I think there would be a lot of excuses for why Shakur lost. You know, it'd only be like his second or third fight at 135, where Devin's been there forever. And I think if he beat Shakur, he wouldn't get as much respect as he would if he beat Gervonta. Whoever knocks Gervonta Davis off, they're going to be looked at like when Lennox Lewis beat Mike Tyson. They're going to be looked at like when Marquez knocked out Manny Pacquiao. It's gonna be looked at like an impossibility. That shouldn't happen. That's not an everyday thing, and they're gonna get a lot of praise. Now it might be a nobody. It might be one of those young guns. Gervonta Davis, if he sticks around 135 too long, he might run into a young fighter that really shouldn't beat him, but they beat him because he just been around there too long. And eventually there's going to come a talent that just as good or better than you, and you might get beat.
With the people that I tend to respect, that see things like-minded the way I do. We all came from some survival mode that if you were not a general, you don't survive. We all have the ability to think if we're brought up around thinkers. We'll all have the ability to have courage if we've seen courage.
So I think it benefits both of them to move up in weight. Devin Haney and Gervonta and even Shakur, because they're going to have basically a whole division to themselves to run wild through. 135, there's a lot of fighters that leave 120 to go to 130, so it's always going to be a stacked division because all those lightweight fighters, that's like the pinnacle of lightweight fighting. So most of the guys are trying to get to 130, 135, 120s, 125s, 119s. They all trying to get up to 130, 135 so they can get bigger money. But for those 130, 135 guys, the big money is at 140, 147. That's the funny thing about boxing, because the farther you can push your body, the more money you're going to make within the sport, especially if your knockouts carry. Manny Pacquiao's knockouts carried from 108, 109, all the way up to 147, which is crazy to even think about that. Now imagine if Gervonta Davis moved to 140 and was still knocking people out. Imagine if Gervonta Davis moved to 147 and was still knocking guys out. It would be absolutely insane, and perhaps that's where he ends his career at. There's a lot of good fights up there, and I think if his power is that good at 130, it's got to be that good at 140. 147 is a whole nother level, but 140 I think he can manage, and I think there's a good opportunity there for anybody who wants to go fight Josh Taylor to become the man at 140. It's very easy to make that fight. I think Josh Taylor is looking for some more credible names to face up with, not just the mundane guys. He's gonna fight Teofimo, but Teofimo is like leftovers compared to Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney and Shakur Stevens. He's like leftovers now, Taking nothing away from Teo. I like Teo. He's a likable guy, but George Kambosos dominated Teo. And it wasn't even a fair fight the way he beat the crap out of Teo. So I just feel like that moving forward, I think it's going to take something dramatic for Devin Haney to get the popularity that these guys got. I think he has respect within the boxing world. He just doesn't have the respect and popularity like these guys got. And you gotta respect Gervonta Davis. He got it out the mud, man. This guy got it out the mud, and he got it the hard way. This is why I like him. This is why I liked Manny Pacquiao. This is why I liked Bernard Hopkins. This is why I liked Eric Morales and Mark Antonio Barrera. Classic names within the sport. It's why I liked Diego Corrales. Those guys got it out the mud, man. Mike Tyson, they got it out the mud, man. I can go on and on, but those guys who are truly built for this sport, who know how to box, entertain, score knockouts, and just all around work the sport, those are the guys who's going to win. And the guys like Devin Haney that are super talented, you better learn how to entertain, because that's where the money's at. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that down in the comment section below. Hit that like button for me. Share, subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms. That's Facebook, that's Instagram, that's YouTube, that's Twitter. More than likely to get a response on the tubes, or holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, hit my Gmail's flockofcards@gmail.com. We are Manny.
Would you like to come with me? Now first of all, I'm looking for the perfect bra, tight skirt, no drawers. Tat on the chest, tiger paw, made me wanna pin her up against the wall. Hell no, would I ever hit raw? Hell no, at least that's what I would tell y'all. Is she with me cause I make me y'all? Would she stick around if I fell off?
Something I like to say, mama, you a fox, no Michael J. Michael J. Been kicking it with you night and day, night and day, night and day. And I got a little something I like to say. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I was struggling, now I'm bubbling. Why you stunting, acting so unusual, usual. Well, here's something you should know, you should know, you should know. I got a new bitch. You see, I never was the type to be sweet, diabetes type 2. Even if I like you, even if I wife you, holla at another bitch, what I might do. A player, what you could call me, but a nuttin' ass nigga, what you would call me. I could call 3 bitches to the crib, give them some Xanax, start a football team. But I was overbooed up, too much drama, I made a few cuts. You was a bottom bitch, then you moved up, new shoes and such, I hooked you up, then you started tripping. If a bitch said hello, she was in for a natural ass whipping. So now I'm dipping, don't act like you don't know why. Even though you're so fly, I gotta go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.